由今篇信息開始，我哋會為大家分享一個全新嘅精華短片系列，名為健康飲食須知。目的係介紹更多有關健康飲食嘅新資訊，使大家能夠擁有一個更健康嘅身體嚟侍奉同見證神。健康飲食須知系列第一集將會為大家分享食鹽。眾所周知，鹽係身體每日必須攝取嘅食物元素之一，佢嘅重要性可以話係僅次於氧氣同水分。因為如果身體缺乏鹽分，細胞就無法吸收我哋所飲嘅水。咁樣，鹽分究竟係乜嘢呢？或者更準確咁講，我哋日常食用嘅食鹽係乜嘢呢？食鹽嘅主要化學成分係氯化鈉，從佢嘅名字已經可以得知，係由氯同鈉兩種元素組成嘅物質，而呢兩種元素都係人體必須每日攝取嘅。如果一個人長期缺乏鹽分，就會引發好多健康問題，例如一、電解質失衡，缺乏鈉離子會導致水液平衡障礙，引起低鈉血症，仲可能導致鉀鈣等其他電解質失衡，繼而影響神經肌肉功能同心腦血管系統。二、血壓降低，鈉離子喺維持血壓穩定裏面起重要作用，長期缺鈉會導致血壓持續偏低，引發頭暈、乏力等症狀。三、肌肉無力，鈉離子參與肌肉收縮，缺乏會導致肌肉痙攣乏力。四、食慾下降，缺乏鹽分會導致食慾降低，影響營養攝入。五、體溫調節障礙，鈉離子參與汗液嘅滲透壓調節，缺鈉可能出現體溫調節失常，出現低體溫等情況。六、神經系統異常，鈉離子係神經衝動傳遞嘅基礎，缺乏可以導致神經症狀好似意識模糊、抽搐等。七、其他症狀包括惡心嘔吐、疲勞乏力、皮膚乾燥等。由此可見，長期缺乏鹽分會導致電解質紊亂，危及多個器官系統嘅正常功能，嚴重嘅時候甚至危及生命。因此必須重視日常嘅鹽分攝入。我哋需要攝取鹽分，首先係為咗吸收當中嘅鈉，其次係吸收氯。當氯以氯化鈉，即鹽分嘅方式進入身體之後，最主要會轉變為胃酸。如果人體缺乏胃酸，就無法消化食物，當然亦無法生存。所以鹽分絕對係人體不可或缺嘅元素。然而近年大家可能常常會聽到西醫或者營養師鼓勵低鹽飲食，聲稱攝取過多鹽分裡面含有嘅鈉離子會導致身體出現眾多問題，例如高血壓、心臟病、腎病等。咁樣究竟問題出咗喺邊度呢？主要出喺我哋一般喺市場上購買嘅餐桌鹽。現代嘅餐桌鹽同白糖一樣，經過人工精製，喺精製過程裏面，工廠會將天然鹽裏面除咗氯化鈉以外嘅成分完全去除，當中包含70至90種身體所需嘅各種元素，而其中2種被去除，而身體又最需要嘅元素就係鉀同鎂。人工精製過程令鹽嘅鈉含量提升咗至少1倍以上，卻冇咗天然鹽所含嘅其他礦物質，導致身體吸收過多鈉。當體內細胞吸收過多鈉嘅時候，就會因為滲透作用吸收過多水分，導致身體各處出現水腫問題。另一個吸收過多鈉所產生嘅問題，就係導致高血壓。主要原因係一、增加血液裡面嘅鈉離子濃度。攝取過多嘅鈉會令血液裡面嘅鈉離子濃度上升，高濃度嘅鈉離子會增加血液嘅滲透壓，促使水分從細胞外流進血管，增加血容量。二、引起腎臟調控機制失衡。腎臟負責調節體內鈉水分平衡，但過多嘅鈉離子會加重腎臟負擔，降低佢嘅調節能力，導致水分同鈉離子滯留喺血管裡面，增加血容量同血壓。三、激活交感神經系統。高鈉攝取量會刺激身體嘅交感神經系統，引起血管收縮，增加外周阻力，從而提高血壓。四、影響內皮素平衡。鈉攝取過多會改變內皮素嘅分泌，令血管收縮因子增加，加重血管阻力，導致血壓上升。因此，如果我哋要避免因吸收過多鈉而導致身體出現水腫同高血壓嘅問題，並唔係進行所謂嘅低鹽飲食，因為好似上述提及，身體其實係需要鹽分嘅。要防止身體吸收過多鈉，最簡單嘅方法就係停止食用同使用經過工廠精製嘅餐桌鹽，改為未經精製嘅天然鹽。如此一來，身體唔單止可以吸收所需嘅鈉， 仲可以攝取各種其他礦物質元素。
天然鹽相比一般餐桌鹽，確實唔容易導致高血壓。主要原因：一、礦物質含量較高。天然鹽含有多種微量礦物質，例如鉀、鎂、鈣等等，有助平衡鈉離子對身體嘅影響。相比之下，精製嘅餐桌鹽基本只含有氯化鈉，缺乏其他平衡礦物質。二、鈉含量較低。天然鹽嘅鈉含量通常較低，僅佔總重量約15至30%。一般餐桌鹽嘅鈉含量則高達37至到39%。三、加工程度較低。天然鹽經過較少化學處理同埋精製，保留咗更多原有嘅礦物質。餐桌鹽則經過高溫煮沸、精製等過程，破壞咗其他營養成分。四、顆粒大小不同。天然海鹽顆粒較粗大，進食之後有利慢慢吸收；餐桌鹽則較細小，容易快速溶解，令身體過快吸收，加劇腎臟負擔。雖然天然鹽亦含有大量鈉，但由於富含其他礦物質、加工程度較低等特性，對高血壓嘅影響相對較細，係較為健康嘅選擇。另外，一般市面上我哋購買到嘅精製餐桌鹽，為咗防止過度吸收空氣中嘅水分而變得潮濕，通常會添加鋁，令鹽長期保持乾燥，易於保存。但長期攝入過量嘅鋁，會對健康產生嚴重不良影響，包括：一、神經系統損害。大量吸收嘅鋁會積聚喺大腦，可能干擾正常嘅神經傳導，與某些神經退行性疾病，例如阿茲海默症等有潛在關聯。二、骨骼健康受損。鋁會影響體內嘅鈣同埋磷嘅平衡，導致骨質疏鬆，增加骨折嘅風險，尤其對於老年人。三、腎臟功能障礙。鋁會加重腎臟嘅代謝負擔，可能會導致腎小球過濾率下降。當體內鈣、磷等電解質失衡嘅時候，會進一步增加腎臟負擔。四、貧血風險上升。鋁可能會妨礙鐵喺體內嘅正常代謝同埋吸收，引發缺鐵性貧血等健康問題。五、免疫系統受損。大量鋁沉積可能干擾免疫細胞嘅正常活動，降低免疫功能，增加感染、自身免疫性疾病等風險。然而，點解製鹽商人會將對身體有害嘅鋁加入食鹽中呢？原因當然唔係單單因為鋁可以防止鹽粒受潮，更重要嘅係鋁好多時係一種工業廢料，如果直接丟棄，會被各地政府徵收費用甚至罰款。所以無良嘅製鹽商就諗出呢種既方便又惡毒嘅方法，將鋁廢品放入食鹽中，作為一種食物添加劑，就如同喺食水中加入氟化物，以此消耗氟呢種毒藥一樣。喺市面上我哋能夠購買到未經工廠精製嘅天然鹽，最常見嘅係純天然海鹽，其次係岩鹽，再其次係湖鹽。然而，早喺13年前，自從2011年日本核電廠輻射洩漏事件以嚟，海洋已經被核輻射嚴重污染。即使官方聲稱出售嘅海鹽係嚟自遠離污染嘅海域，但我哋好難確定呢啲海鹽有冇受到輻射污染。要揾到可信賴嘅產品亦相當困難。此外，喺過去100年，人類將大量污染物倒進海洋，如塑膠物品，佢哋分解之後會變成大量微細嘅塑膠顆粒，充斥喺海洋中，而且一般需要至少500年先至能夠分解。當我哋食用海鹽嘅時候，亦會同時攝入呢啲塑膠顆粒。所以為咗食得更安心，我哋不妨選擇嗰啲絕對冇受海水污染嘅天然鹽，例如岩鹽或者湖鹽。第一種，我哋最常見而且最容易買到嘅天然鹽，係產自巴基斯坦嘅喜馬拉雅山岩鹽。其實岩鹽亦係海鹽嘅一種，由古老海洋嘅海水生成。由於地殼板塊嘅移動，海水被困喺內陸，再慢慢蒸發，成為鹽礦。由於岩鹽嘅形成已經有上千年，所以唔會受到現代海洋污染嘅影響。第二種係湖鹽，將鹹水湖嘅鹹水經過人工蒸發之後剩低嘅鹽分。首選未受污染嘅係澳洲出品嘅湖鹽。以下影片 提到餐桌鹽嘅害處，以及天然海鹽同埋岩鹽嘅優點。需要注意嘅係，分享者提到嘅一種天然海鹽海爾特鹽，但正如剛才所提到，我哋好難確認海鹽係咪受到輻射污染，所以我哋不作推薦。基本上只需要選擇湖鹽或者岩鹽，就能夠避開輻射污染嘅問題，而且成分上與天然海鹽差唔多，都比人工精製嘅餐桌鹽健康得多。此外，影片亦提到一個生活小智慧，點樣能夠讓身體更容易吸收飲入去嘅水呢？方法係喺飲水之前，先將數粒芝麻般大小嘅岩鹽或者湖鹽放喺舌頭上，讓身體吸收鹽分，之後再喝水。咁樣做唔單止能夠幫助身體補充水分，仲能夠預防水腫、減少尿頻，並且當身體攝取足夠嘅鹽分嘅時候，更有利葡萄糖進入血液同埋細胞。
Water, the second most vital element needed for life. So the number one vital element needed for life is oxygen. And that's not a surprise, is it? The second most vital element needed for life is water. You can go 3 minutes without oxygen. You can go a couple of weeks without water. I always thought it was 3 days without water until I read a book called The Long Walk about some people who were escaping the Siberian work camp, and they were in the desert and they went nearly 2 weeks without water. Water is the second most vital element needed for life. In fact, where there's no water, you don't usually get people living, do you? I always say to people, how much water do you drink? And these are some of the answers. I don't like water. If I drink water, my feet swell. If I drink water, I'm going to the bathroom all day. Those last two answers tell me that the water's not getting inside the cell. So how do we get the water inside the cell? We have to go to the third most vital element needed for life, and that is sodium. The fourth most vital element needed for life is potassium. So let's go back to sodium. In nature, we find the highest amount of sodium in seawater. And seawater contains 92 minerals. Of those 92 minerals, 30%, approximately 30% is sodium. And of those 92 minerals, approximately 50% is chloride. Now, because sodium chloride take up the most amount, they're the first crystals formed when the water is evaporated. So what man does is he scoops up the first crystals formed, he bleaches them white, puts aluminium with it so that it runs freely, and there's your table salt. Table salt is a dangerous salt because we now have two very harsh minerals that if you were to inject both of those into the blood, you would die. There's two harsh minerals and they need all the other 90 to soften them and balance them. The highest concentration of mineral inside the cell is potassium. The highest concentration outside the cell is sodium. And in this bilayered membrane that is around every cell, there are sodium-potassium pumps. And these sodium-potassium pumps are ever going like this, maintaining the balance between potassium and sodium. But when someone's not eating enough fruits and vegetables, and that's where you get most of your potassium, and they're putting table salt on everything far too much, what happens now is sodium levels rise and potassium levels drop. There is a small amount of sodium in the cell, but when this happens, you see osmosis and diffusion happens when the highest concentration merges into the lowest. So now sodium levels inside the cell are rising, which they should not, and the cell swells. What's that called? High blood pressure. The doctor is right. table salt will contribute to high blood pressure. There's a French doctor named Dr. Lelangre, and he's written a whole book on salt. He said, when people come to me with high blood pressure, I put them on Celtic salt. Why does he put them on Celtic salt? Because Celtic salt contains 82 minerals. It's a hand-harvested sea salt. So the minerals are in the Celtic salt in their balanced form. What about Himalayan salt? In many places, Himalayan salt is a lot easy to get. There's about 75 minerals. So it's pretty good. But I prefer the Celtic salt. And one reason is that the Celtic salt has 3 magnesiums. It contains magnesium chloride and magnesium bromide and magnesium sulfate. Magnesium is a water-hungry molecule, and this explains why the Celtic salt is such a moist salt, especially when we've had a lot of rain, because those 3 magnesiums absorb the moisture. And because magnesium is a water-hungry molecule, it can be used to help the water get into the cell. So when you take a crystal of Celtic salt, put it on your tongue, and some say, how big's a crystal? Well, if you've got high blood pressure, start small, about the size of a sesame seed. I don't have high blood pressure, so I might have about 3 times little sesame seeds. Put it on your tongue, your mucous membranes start absorbing the minerals, the magnesium is taken to the cell membrane, and you drink your water, and that magnesium pulls that water inside the cell. It's the quickest way to hydrate a body. The only time excess water drinking can be dangerous is if people drink too much at once and don't have the minerals that are in the Celtic salt to pull that water inside the cell. I've had people complain to me, they say, I'm drinking more water now I'm going to the bathroom all day. So I say, are you having the salt? Have a little crystal before every glass of water. And ideally, we should be having approximately 8 glasses of water a day. And then I say to them, and don't drink a whole glass at once. I think I mentioned earlier, I drink half a glass as soon as I get up. I go to the bathroom, I drink another half glass. Then I get dressed and have another half glass. But when I start every glass, I have that little bit of salt. So you spread the water over the day. And many people have said to me, thank you so much, that has made a big difference. See, huge water in, it's not long before huge water has to come out. It's like watering a plant. And look how God sends the rain, little by little by little. And when there's a tornado, when there's a torrential downpour, that's when the soil gets washed away and flooding can happen. So remember that with your body. Take it little by little by little by little. It is the best way to take it. Lining our gastrointestinal tract are villi. And on the villi is a receptor site. And that receptor site is to take the glucose through and into the blood. So on this villi, we've got blood capillaries that go all the way through. Now, in that receptor site is a carrier. And this carrier is designed to take the glucose through to the blood. But the carrier will not accept the glucose unless it comes with a molecule of sodium. I read this in my anatomy and physiology book. In the anatomy and physiology book, I memorized the sentence so I could give it to you from the horse's mouth. Sodium is the main transport system of glucose across the brush border wall and into the blood. And yet what are we told? Don't eat salt. Well, I agree with the table salt because it causes this imbalance of minerals in and out of the cell, absolutely. And did you know that sodium chloride is so strong it can kill the taste buds? Have you seen people that eat table salt? They put it on everything and they put it on before they've even tasted it. Well, no wonder their taste buds are dying. Whereas Celtic salt, with all of its minerals, it enhances the flavour of the food. Now, the red lentils we had this morning, a few people have said, "What's in this?" I've even served it at my house at breakfast, and people have said, "Is there chicken in this?" And I know why they say that. It's because it's so flavoursome. Well, it has a little olive oil, some herbs, nice if you can get fresh or Italian herbs, and some Celtic salt and a bit of turmeric. That's it. I rinse it very well. It must be rinsed well first. And I do that just before it's fully cooked. And yet, as you can see, it's delicious. See, I'm not interested in cooking up onions and garlic, and much as I love that in my lentils, I'll do that at lunchtime. But in the morning, I've got hills to run up and down, creeks to jump in. I'm not interested in being in the kitchen for a long time, and that's a very quick dish to make. So sodium not only is required to get the glucose into the blood, it's also required to get the water into the cell. So it's sodium. It's the third most vital element needed for life. And you can get that information on the 4 vitals in any anatomy and physiology book, chemistry book, biology book. I'm just giving you the facts here. So as you can see, water is very important. But so is the salt. And again, the potassium is found in all your fresh fruits and vegetables.
總言之，攝取足夠嘅鹽分對維持身體機能正常運作至關重要，即使係高血壓患者亦不例外。關鍵在於選擇對健康有益嘅鹽，例如未受海洋污染、未經精製、無人工添加物嘅天然岩鹽同埋湖鹽。當然，每日嘅攝入量亦需要控制喺適當嘅範圍內。此外，針對水腫或者尿頻問題，可以嘗試喺飲水之前，先含1-2粒鹽喺口中或者脷底，然後再飲水。建議每次飲用約150毫升水之前，都先含1-2粒鹽，唔使太多，因為咁樣吸收最快。如果平時唔方便每次飲水之前先含鹽，亦可以嘗試喺約500毫升嘅水瓶中加入約1/4茶匙嘅鹽，但唔好過量。呢個就能夠將水變成更容易被身體吸收嘅電解質飲料。當然，結合以上2種方法效果更佳，不單有助於身體吸收水分，仲能夠有效預防水腫同埋尿頻，同時亦都能夠讓水變得更加好飲。下一集健康飲食須知，我哋將會為大家分享更多日常飲食中嘅健康選擇，敬請拭目以待。